Good day, family, and all praise to our Father, the Almighty Creator. I put out a video a couple of weeks ago about the enemy's pestilence problem. In the video, I read Psalms 91, 1 through 8. There's a verse that I didn't quite understand, and it's verse 7. An article came out in the enemy's news, and after reading it, I now understand verse 7. First, I'll read Psalms 91, 1 through 8, and then I'll go to the articles. Psalms 91, 1 through 8. O thou that dwellest in the covert of the Most High, and abidest in the shadow of the Almighty, I will say of the Almighty, who is my refuge and my fortress, my Creator, in whom I trust, that he will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. And that's all we're hearing about now is the pestilence. He will cover thee with his pinions, and under his wings shalt thou take refuge. His truth is a shield and a buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flieth by day, of the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor of the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 7. 1,000 may fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. It shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the recompense of the wicked. Let's go to the articles. DOJ wants to suspend certain constitutional rights during coronavirus emergency. The Department of Justice has secretly asked Congress for the ability to detain arrested people indefinitely, in addition to other powers that one expert called terrifying. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just pieces. The Trump Department of Justice has asked Congress to craft legislation allowing chief judges to indefinitely hold people without trial and suspend other constitutionally protected rights during coronavirus and other emergencies. Whenever the district court is fully or partially closed by virtue of any natural disaster, civil obedience, or other emergency situation, according to draft language obtained by Politico. This would be applicable to any statutes or rules of procedure otherwise affecting, and pay attention to this please, pre-arrest, post-arrest, pre-trial, trial, and post-trial procedures in criminal and juvenile proceedings and all civil processes and proceedings. The Constitution grants citizens habeas corpus, which gives arrestees the right to appear in front of a judge and ask to be released before trial. Enacting legislation like the DOJ wants would essentially suspend habeas corpus indefinitely until the emergency ended. Not only would it be a violation of habeas corpus, but it says affecting pre-arrest. So that means you could be arrested and never brought before a judge until they decide that the emergency or civil disobedience is over. So, let's look at the incarceration in the United States. The United States has the largest prison population in the world and the highest per capita incarceration rate. We all know this. Let's jump down to ethnicity. Okay, I'm not going to go over percent of population because we've been 13% of the population since we came over here on ships. So I'm not going to go over that or incarcerated population. This is what I want to pay attention to. National incarceration rate per 100,000 of all ages. So, with white, out of 100,000 people arrested, out of the white people, there's 450. Okay? Out of blacks, out of 100,000 people arrested, 2,306 are black. So, again, out of 100,000 people arrested, there's going to be 450 that are white and 2,306 that are black. Now, these are statistics from 2010. So I dug this up. And this is this goes up to 2017. And I'm just going to read this part. I'll include everything in the pinned, or in the description box. Excuse me, it's early. Okay, among racial groups, the imprisonment rate for sentenced black adults declined by 31% from 2007 to 2017, and by 4% from 2016 to 2017, the largest declines of any racial group. Now remember what I showed you here, as far as out of 100,000 people that are arrested, 450 are white and 2,306 are black. Here's the numbers from 2017. Out of 100,000 people arrested, 2,336 are black. And out of that 100,000 people arrested, 397 are white. Let that sink in. Hold on one second, family. Given the statistics I've just shown you, what race of people do you think they're going to be locking up? Do you know why they're doing this? Knowing that everything created in the enemy's matrix was created to take out as many of the Almighty's remnant as possible, why would they just lock us up in prison? They're already seeing that when we get the virus, so far, it affects us far less severe than the other races. So they aren't trying to lock us up in hopes that we'll all die from this pestilence. At this point, in these end days, with everyone in the USA soon to being locked down due to the pestilence, it would be real easy for them to kill off the remnant. They know who we are. Why don't they just kill us off after this place is locked down so they can better cover their tracks? Ask yourself this question. Why would our enemy want to lock us away from their white population during this pestilence? Why are they so afraid of us in these days of their pestilence? You see what I've just given you? Remember, we are the Most High's remnant. When I say we, that means the ones that have left Christianity and the other false religions, the ones that aren't falling for these other books provided by false prophets, books that don't have the words of our Almighty Creator in them, the ones that know they were scattered to the nations by ships. Right now, there are hundreds of millions of Christians of all denominations praying to their God JC to stop this virus and save them. Looks like their God JC sleep. See the recompense of the wicked, as 1,000 of them may fall at your side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. I'll leave you with more good news from your Father, the Almighty Creator. Zephaniah 3:17 through 20. The Almighty, thy Creator, is in the midst of thee, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will be silent in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are far from the appointed season, who are of thee, that hast borne the burden of reproach. Behold, at that time I will deal with all of them that afflict thee, and I will save her that is lame, and gather her that was driven away. And I will make them to be a praise and a name, whose shame hath been in all the earth. At that time will I bring you in, and at that time will I gather you. For I will make you to be a name and a praise among all the peoples of the earth, when I turn your captivity before your eyes, saith the Almighty Creator. Praise the Almighty Creator. Family, fear the Father.